ってたの？お友達の家？ダメ！今日は私と遊んでくれる約束だったでしょ？逃がさないよ。早く私の部屋行こう。
Hello everyone. So I figured out that I'm missing out quite a lot in the last episode. So this episode will be a continuation of the last one instead of jumping into the perimeters and all the other setups. So in this episode, I'll cover a few things. First of all, there's going to be the mouth making, how to make the mouth, how to make it open, close, and happy and sad. And then there's going to be a part where I show you how to patch a texture material manually, just in case that in your project, halfway through Live2D modeler, you realize that you want to add a few pieces or you're missing or you want to modify something. You can go back into the original source, do some changes, and throw it back in without destroying whatever you've built so far. And then there's going to be polygon arrangement in manual methods. So instead of doing any scripting, this is all going to be completely on-hands manual methods. All right, so first, the way to do the mouth, which currently I've done it already, so it's sort of like this and this. All right, so currently the mouth are animated. It was not in the last episode. Last episode was only like this. So it was originally just closed tight with lips that doesn't move. Best it only follows the mouse when I moved it around. That's all we have from the last episode, and this one is going to be this included. So how do we do that? In order to draw the mouth, you need to have the visual in your head. All right, so you need a bit of vision of what it's like before you even start. Now, originally when you design a character, maybe it's smiling, maybe it's not. It's usually easier if it's smiling with the mouth open, because that's sort of like the default normal state of Live2D viewer. So if you're using Live2D viewer to do those animation and you want to use those defaults sort of pre-made sample expressions that could automatically animate your character, you want to have it smiling and with the open mouth, and that's a normal state. If you have that and then design the rest of it, it'll be easier. But in my case, it's not a cheery character and doesn't talk that much, so it's sort of a little bit sticky halfway through, but we'll pull it off. It's not gonna be perfect anyways, but we're gonna pull it off. So you have to imagine what it's like when it's happy, when it's sad, when it's mouth open, it's closed. For this example, now I have to think how wide the mouth is open when it's open, right? So currently it's closed tight. In the spectrum in the perimeter, there's a spectrum of 0 to full +1, and this is going to represent mouth closed, half open, and mouth open wide. So I'm imagining what it's like when it's 0.5. It's going to be around this shape. So the upper lip is not going to move. The lower lip is going to open downwards to see the inner of the mouth. And when I'm approaching from 0.5 to full +1, the upper lip is going to move up, lower lip is going to move down, and a little bit of curve. And also these side, the two sides, there's going to be the outline of it. I'm going to try to zoom in and see these outlines. There are two vertical lines here that originally doesn't exist. You see this? So they're always there. It's just that I have something to cover them up, and they're only shown as I open the mouth. So they're not moving at all. They're not animated, and they're just there, but it's covered otherwise. So that's how I'm doing for this mouth open and wide. And then for the deformation, which represents the sort of the sad and the happiness, that's relatively easy, because long as you have them in, like, assuming they're in proportion to the mouth open and close, soon as you got this nailed, this one is just a matter of the angle or the width of the lips. Maybe a little bit positioning, but in general, if that's That's how your that's how Live2D meant to animate the happy and sadness. So you got this. I got this nailed already, right? So this wouldn't be a problem. All it's doing is to tell it how wide and how narrow it is. When it's when it's -1, it's very narrow. 0.5 is normal state, and when it's 1, it's fully open as it could be. And this would just the rest would just follow it. So that's about that. All you gotta do mostly is really thinking how to open, how to close. If you've seen my other examples, they're done completely different style in terms of mouth control. But this one is the one we're working on, so if you learn this one, you'll be able to imagine how to do the other ones that you desire, right? Your own design. Anyways, let's get back to Photoshop, and I'll show you how to do the details. Okay, so we're back in Photoshop. Now, last time where we left off, we did not have these layers right here. These are the side lips, the lower lips, the upper cover, lower cover, and sort of the rest of the mouth, the black part or the inner part of the mouth. So I'm going to show you one by one, but nonetheless, I want you to be aware that these weren't here last time. So these are what I've drawn, and now I'm going to show you. I don't want to draw in front of you because it's going to take a while. So I drew them ahead of time before I start the video recording. Let's have a closer look. Here I created a rectangular white background here just to show you exactly where they are and what they look like. Alright, so let's zoom in a little bit. As you can see, the original triangular lips is right here, and first I drew the inner side of the mouth. You see a little bit of darker shade upper side, lower shade down here, and there's a little bit of gradients. And this is about the shape as we have decided, like the last minute when we're trying to visualize what it's like. This is the result of this is following what I imagined. All right, this is the area as it's gonna be. It's gonna be slightly bigger than it needs to be, but that's fine because most of the extra part is gonna be covered. But this is about when it's fully open. These are the area that the inner mouth will look like. All right, and then we can get an extra piece here. We can duplicate this layer just to save the original one. All right, so we're gonna work on the copy one. All right, so what we're doing here is to move it up so we know what it's like when it's fully open. So like I said just now, when we imagine what it's like when it's fully open, it's going to be about this area. I'm going to turn off the white part. It's going to be around this area, about this height, and the lower bit, which I've drawn, should be starting here. All right, so at 0.5 of mouth opening, when it's half open, it should be right here, sticking right at the bottom of the original triangle piece. And as it moves up, this piece would go downwards about this area, so that it wouldn't cross the border of the inner mouth. But we're gonna keep it like this for convenience, and then the rest of it is just this little two piece. All right, I'm gonna turn off the original triangle. So when it's fully open, there's gonna be showing these two side, sort of, I call it side lips, and it should be touching the bottom down there, and the upper part right there. It should be connecting between these two vertically. And by that time, when it's fully open, this little piece here should be in a downwards curve a little bit. All right, so those are all going to be done in Live2D. We don't need to prepare an extra piece here. All we got, these are the material, all we need. Oh, also, we got the covering pieces. So how to do the covering pieces? Let's go back to the original state, which is like this. Now, the role of the two pieces right here, which if I do this, you can see them clearly, is to covering the upper and the lower part of the mouth. All right. When it starts like this, and you can't notice anything without the white background. It starts like this, where you should know the red part is always there at the back. All right, but it's only covered. Now with the white part shown, we can see that they're in position, and when it hits 0.5 on the mouth opening, it should show the lower lips and also the inner mouth, which means that this lower mouth cover would go down, or it would disappear about this. All right, so it will drop down. The center part would drop down and flatten here, so that it wouldn't cover up this part and be shown red and see that the mouth is open. But we're gonna leave it as it's fully closed. Everything would be worked inside Live2D. So prepare the material as if it's in normal state and it's fully closed. So as for the top part, originally it's like this, and when it's fully opened, the top part is expected to be moving all the way up here. It might penetrate this part a little bit, like you see here with different shading. It might penetrate this part, but as I said, everything will be worked inside Live2D, and don't worry about it. All right, just imagine it's a piece of paper, and you'll fold them up as soon as you get to Live2D. So we have this area covered. These two parts, all they have to do is to cover the big red piece when the mouth is closed. Make sure it hides everything, and then everything else will be Live2D, a modeler's job. Anyways, so we have these pieces ready. I don't need this extra piece, it's just for showing. I don't need the white part as well. So I have these 5 few pieces new to the original what I've already exported and worked on, right? I have to put it in modeler. How do I do that without starting a complete new modeler file? So all we have to do is to put them into the texture pack that the modeler is currently using. All right, so here we are. This is texture 00, and it's called copy.png because I just copy out different version just in case I overwrite stuff. But assuming this is the piece that modeler is currently using as its texture, the one that you import the PSD into the modeler after using the script, and this is a piece that is generated. All right, make sure you find the right one because it might generate a couple version of them in different sizes and all that. So make sure this is the exact file that is currently using. And what you got to do right now is to duplicate these little pieces, these little layers over. So I duplicate the layer. Of course, if you're not using Photoshop, if you're using other paint tool, it might require different methods. But I think you probably have the idea how to do that in your own version. And so I have these duplicated into the texture 00.copy png, which is this file, and they should be all in stacked up right here. So I'm going to spread them out the same way that the script would do it for me. Spread them out like this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see clear, and I'm going to have this part move over this part here, and this part here, and then this part maybe here. All right, make sure you have the space, make sure you're not overlapping anything, and then save it. Just save it, just overwrite it, it's fine. Whoa, why it should be yeah, it should be here. So replace the original file, that's fine, just replace it. All right, save. Oh, unless you want to be safe, you can save it on a different one and then replace. All right, maybe I'll show you without replacing the original, just in case you need to revert all the work. All right, so let's call it copy. All right, the worst way to name things, but we call it copy.png. So we have a separate one that adds new pieces. All right, save it. Okay, so let's start on Live2D modeler. Let's retrieve the file that we were working on. I think I'll put it over here, V1. So you got a project halfway through. you want to add something that to replace the material file, how do you do that? Now let's go to your texture list and select this one, and actually let me have a look. Edit texture. Why? Alright, there you go. Okay, so you have to scroll down in order to see this button. I was wondering why the button was gone. Anyhow, do I care about setting? I don't care about setting. All you have to do is open this browser by pressing texture list, and you see your current file, and you press replace, and it will ask you, do you want to replace this texture? Undo is not available after this function. You said fine, it's okay, and then go for the one we saved, which is now it was texture.00 copy.png. Now I'm not gonna do that on this file because it will mess things up, but this is supposed how you do it. You just find a file, click replace or click open, and then it should replace your current one. Now assuming you didn't move anything else from your original that you've been working on, and let's say for example, right, this is the original file. You have the original PNG texture material, and the head and the face is right here. Now what happens if the new file, you have this face over here? The problem is that if you already have the polygon drawn to select this area, and the face is currently gone or moved a little bit, or it's halfway out of the original border, then it will take the wrong area or the wrong image to be your face. And that's why you gotta be sure that you didn't move anything, you didn't touch anything, you didn't replace anything, everything is just in order, or else your original work would be invalid. Alright, so right now we have this new pieces here, and just press OK, and then you should be nothing should change, right? Supposedly nothing that you see right now would change. We wouldn't be half face off, it wouldn't be losing some bits or missing an eyeball or any of that. It should be completely fine. What's different is that currently, let's say I need the mouthpiece, right? Currently I only have the mouth down here, as you can see, the little triangle, and all I have is right here. Now I need all the other pieces to be in here. Alright, so let's start with importing the red inner part of the mouth. So let's go, make sure you actually haven't taught polygons, right? But anyhow, that's how you import. Okay, let's do it over. This is how you import pieces in. First of all, you may have already some pieces in already, right? But do not select them as you import anything. Never select things when you import new stuff, especially if they're not in the same group. You don't want to select the eye and then import the mouth. It will screw up a lot of things. First of all, the mouthpiece will be within the eye folder and may automatically attach to the eye deformer, and that's why you should select them carefully. So let's say you have the mouth folder and you get the mouthpiece in. Alright, what you gotta do is select anywhere else that's nothing, that's void, and make sure you can see over here it's only highlighting the folder, not anything, not the transformer, not the deformer, not anything else. It should be pink just on the folder and nothing within that. So this is how you make sure, or actually you still this little waffle and grids here, right? You should not have those. You should be clicking anywhere else, and that is how you import something that goes right into the folder you want, but is not attached to anything. Alright, so you go click here and edit texture, and you click on the material. Now I need this piece in, and this is how you import something without, or import the material pieces without the script. First of all, you get this pen tool ready. It should be by default insert points, and all you have to do is first select the area. Now I need this piece in, so I have to do it's safer to do a rectangular around it like this, rectangular, fine, and press OK. You may see this blue line here. Blue line only means that it's a suggestion. And why would it suggest things for you? Why would it suggest here to connect these 2 points? It's because currently you're doing rectangular, and as I said, Live2D only likes triangulars. Alright, so as long as it's not seeing triangles, long as there's some anywhere in this point that it's not forming a triangle, it will say something about it. It will give you this blue line and say, hey, maybe you want this line because this is how you make sure everything is triangular. All right, but ignore that for now because we just want to move this piece in before we start adding those little points. All right, so let's select this, and there are a few things you don't want to do. First of all, you do not want to drag points after you've put them down. All right, once you put them down, you do not want to drag points. In case you did, do it over. Seriously, just do it over for safe. Add a texture, click it, and return to this part and do that rectangular again. Do not well, you can back a step, but that's really sticky. So try not to do anything like that. And once you have this and press OK, you have it in. And sometimes you may not find it anywhere because for some reason it likes to import things in random positions around the world. And anyhow, we have that in. Move it over. Now you see something is wrong because this piece should not be covering the lips. The lips should be always on top. And the reason for that is because you have the draw order of the mouth, of the lips, to be 510, and the inner part is also 510. Now, if the mouth, if the inner part is anywhere below 510, the lips should show up. So I press -10 right here. It becomes 500 of the draw order, and then now it's behind the lips. As you can see, the lips are above. So there you go. You have that in the right place, the right draw order. And now what I have to remind you is that you can always go back to fix things, all right? However, okay, to fix things, you just double click, or you can press edit texture after selecting it, but usually I just double click the grid. And you get in here. Now what you can always expand things. All right, you can expand the area. You can start doing your points, rigid points here, so that it adds those details so that you can control the texture deforming. But the last thing you want to do again is to drag points. But now you also have one more thing to be aware of. Do not change the size of the outer border that easily, because let's say you have this rectangular, all right? You take this point off by accident or whatever, and then you do this. If you return outside, it might deform the thing. Sometimes I don't know how it does, but there's a lot of factors. Just watch out when you sometimes every time you do those points, every time you edit things and come back out, make sure it's still in the right shape, because it might be weird. But anyhow, let's return this part and do it again. Now everything is still in shape, so that's fine. Okay, so let's add points. I don't think we need to add point for this one because there's not gonna be any deforming. You know what I mean? Because no matter it's smile, it's sad, or whatever, or open and close, this little red piece here shouldn't be changing its shape or size at all. It should be always there at the background. It should be something that's always covered up as if it's not used, and it's only shown when the mouth is open. And the mouth shouldn't be opening wider than this according to our original design, unless that's not the case. Unless you want to make an inner piece that is dynamic, that as the mouth widens up, the piece would also stretches. I don't know why you would do that. That's kind of weird. It might be because of the gradient that you draw. You want to have a little bit of dynamic that follows the expansion of the mouth shape. But if that's not the case, you do not want to touch anything, and that's why you don't need much polygons in here. But just for the heck of it, we can do a little slice up like this, and you can consider that done. All right, so you got the red piece done. Now we need all the other piece in here. So let's start adding the let me see. Am I selecting anything? I'm selecting something, all right? So this is not good. Go back outside, select anywhere that's not, it's clear. And if you keep having trouble selecting like void spaces because all these things are at the back and you select them, here's a crazy button here. Here's a lock button, all right? What it does one click it would lock everything, and another click it would unlock everything. So what you usually do if you're working on a mouth, you don't want to touch like these area, the face, the eyes, and all these things around them. Just lock them all up, unlock the mouth, and if you have to, you lock other pieces except for the mouthpiece that you're working on. But in this case, we're fine. So I'm gonna select the face here. It's fine. Even if I click on the face, nothing will change. And so this is considered void. Edit texture, and let's get those pieces in. I guess I'm also doing the perimeter. I guess I'm doing the next episode part of it already. I guess I'm just gonna fuse everything into this one. So this is how you import stuff manually. And I need this little piece here. Press OK. And again, it's all over the place. So move it back in, move it down here. You can't really see, you can see clearly because this color is sort of close. We can turn it off. So we turn off the red part. Now what's remaining is this down lower lip. Put it in position. It should be here when the mouth is open, half. So when the mouth open perimeter is 0.5, it should be half open and it should be at this area. But let's just put it here for now, all right? Just because it should not be here if it's closed, but just leave it here for now. Let's put things in place. That's because this is how you do things manually. You sort of put them in an approximate position before you start, put them in detail positions. Again, you got this piece over here, and this part should be, this new piece, this upper lip should be covering the red part. So maybe here. Now as you can see, for some reason, I've tested it a couple of times already and it still happens to be the same. For some reason, this red part here is always slightly wider than the cover piece. And it wasn't like this when I drew them, when I export them from my source file. And I don't know why it does that. I might, if I have some clue later on, I might bring it up. But for now, you may find that sometimes the sizes alters a little bit. Even no matter how careful you do things, it might alter a little bit when you see it in Live2D. And you do not want that to happen. Now what do? You have this extra piece, like these little two lines here poking out. And what we can do is go back to the brown or the inner mouth, and let's shrink it a little bit. Now if I shrink it, obviously I drag this point and drag over, right? I don't want to do this corner because the vertical size is fine. I just need the horizontal size to narrow up a little bit. So I do this. But when I do this, and the anchor point is in the middle, or the pivot point is in the middle, and what happens, it shifts to this side. It sort of lean towards this side as I shift it out. There's a way where I can equally shrink this up and keeping the pivot point in the middle. But to do that, you need to hold down on Alt key and then drag this. And as long as you're holding down on Alt key, both sides would shrink up equally. Now I have them within the border of the cover piece, but not too small that it starts showing up white part on the inner mouth. That's wrong. So there's a sort of a gray area, and this is where you gotta be. It's sort of between it's too wide and too narrow, and this is good. So we have them here. The upper part is covering. Now we need the lower part covered as well. So again, click anywhere in a void, edit texture, click it, and go here, and let's just make a rectangle to drag it in first. There you go. Move it up. Drop it down here to cover the rest of it. Make sure it's low enough to cover the rest of the brown piece, or else you need to shrink the vertical part as well. Otherwise, at the same time, you don't want to be too low that it's sort of breaking through the outline, all right? So there's a fine line between this area. You can stretch this part a little bit, but you know that's not necessary. Now we have this. Now it's gone. The lower lip is gone because, again, we need to fix those draw order. So let's think for a bit. If the upper part of the lips is 510, then the lower lip should be 509. We want it to be matching the upper lip, but not too. We don't want to overlap the upper lip, or else this corner would look weird. So let's have it at. Actually, let's have it 506. 7. Let's have 7. Where's the lower lip? I think it's probably this piece, right? The lower lip, this piece, is D mouth 01 on my side, and I want it to be 505. Now the cover lips, the cover parts. Upper part should be above the brown, but more than the lower lip. Yes, the lower lip should be underneath the upper cover. So lower lip is 505, upper cover should be 508, which is fine. 510, 508, and 505. Now the lower part of the lip should be 503. Wait, is this brown part? This is brown part, never mind. I meant this part. Alright, so the should be 503 lower cover, and it should be done. I don't know why isn't this part showing up. Wait, which is this part? This is lower lip. The brown part is too high. It shouldn't be 5. Oh, no wonder. Alright, so the brown part should be 500. The mouth is 510. 505 is the lower piece. The upper cover should be 508. Yes, that's right. That's right. And the inner cover should be, the lower cover should be 504, 503. That's fine. So we get 10, and then 8, and then this part is 5, and this 504 at the bottom. And the whole dark part, the inner mouth, is 500. Now this is the right order. What we're gonna do now is to start doing the perimeters. Actually, this episode is quite long, so I'll leave that for the next episode. Next episode, we will work on the perimeters and start animating stuff. Alright, so yeah, that's good for now. I'll see you next lesson on Monday. Well, actually, one more thing before I go. I should cover the polygon things here, right? Okay, so let's do a little bit more the polygon, and it's gonna be quick. Now, this is gonna be the general, all right? It's not all of them are like that. It's not a universal method, but quite universally, this is how you draw polygon. Now, let's go to this mouthpiece, the upper cover of the mouthpiece. So if I turn off the face, you're gonna see this face, all right? And I also turn off the lower mouthpiece, which is this, all right? So the upper mouthpiece, this yellowish or skin piece up here, and I want to do the polygon. Now what I have to think about before I start drawing polygon, I gotta think about the function of things, all right? How it's gonna be animated. Is it gonna be shrinking in size, or changing its shape, or it's gonna be a folding action? What is gonna be the animation? For this piece in particular, this thing should fold upwards like this as the lower part, or as the upper lip shrink up. So as it talks, the mouth opens and this part should shrink. Now we got this in mind. Just keep this in mind first, all right? So this is a shrinking upwards action. To do these little shrinking, same as for the eyelids. Yeah, the eye cover and eyelids. It's basically the same idea. You gotta do a sort of a what I call, I don't know, I don't know what to call it, but this is how that's a pattern for things, all right? So this is how I go. I go this, and probably this, and then I go over. Wait, I go over here. I go over here, and then here, up a step, and across, up a step, to the end, up a step, and across, and sort of like that. Now I don't need to do all of them. I'll explain next episode, but I do not need all of them. Maybe I'll do one for the upper side. All right, maybe I'll do the upper side for this one, but I do not need all the layers done. I just need the part where it sort of animates. So I'll be folding this part, and I'm gonna do, oops, yeah, I can do this and this. I'm gonna do it like this. All right, so sort of a zigzag between those horizontal lines we draw. Zigzag like that. Beautiful. That, and that. In case you make a mistake, in case you, oops, I added a point here. You want to take this out without destroying everything and do it over. Hold down, wait, what? Hold down alternate, all right? Hold down alternate and left click. It will destroy the line and also the point. So that's how you do things. And in case you want to have a point here, all right, and you want to connect all this point to every point around it to make it like a spider web-ish, spread it out, and you don't want to go back and forth all the time, because if you have to do this and this back and forth before you do all the points, there are better ways to do this, which is by holding, if you have this point selected and you see this the line here showing you where you're going, hold down shift, all right, and when you hold down shift and left click, whenever you click, it sort of remains the original anchor point. So you can do that. All right, that's cool. And you got this blue line here, and as I said, if you're not touching that part, you can leave the blue line out, it's no problem. All right, but for manually designing these polygons, this is about how you're gonna do it. First, do this up a step, across, up a step, across, up a step, across, up a step, across, and do this zigzag all the way through those layers. And press OK. And as you can see, everything's fine. Now, in the next episode, I'm going to show you ahead, a little bit, show you ahead, all right? How does this work? For folding things, if you do it like this, you can fold it like this. You see that magic? You see that? Oops. And see like this, these layers, I can fold it up. I can fold it up perfectly. All right, and this is a very good way to control those vertical fold ups, or horizontally you would do it horizontally. All right, so this is just a little bit ahead, but get so that you get an idea what you're doing right now. So that's about one type of polygon working. The other type of polygon is perhaps the iris. So let's go to the eye, and actually the eyeball. And I should have the iris deformer there. Now currently what you're seeing is what Live2D modeler automatically generated for me through the script. Whereas this is still fine, but it's not ideal. For an ideal eyeball control, it should go like this. You should have a center point. Well, you should have these distributed evenly, so not like these are close and these are far apart. You should decide them around equally, and hold on Control and do that spider web thing. You should do it like that. In case you need even more better control, more detailed control, you gotta do it like this. So adding these part around. Oops. The inner circle. Oh, by the way, Control Z is the back step. Like the back step shortcut key. So you got these parts around it, and you can do this as well. Make sure they're all triangular. Now this is how you do an even more refined control over the iris or anything round. Of course, we don't mean to deform the iris too much, so we don't need actually that much detail. I'm just gonna go with whatever Live2D. I'm gonna press cancel here and stick with whatever Live2D gave me. because that should work fine. But anyhow, in case you do run into these kind of methods or these kind of situations, you want to use this kind of spiderweb method to control. As a reminder, again, you do not want too many polygons, too many anchor points, or else every single movement would take you a lot of effort. So keep in mind, keep it simple is better. If it's too simple, then you would have trouble moving into the parts that you want, or the shape might be slightly distorted. But otherwise, there's a fine line of what is enough. So play around. You can be brave and experiment things, but if things don't go right, these are the reasons why. Maybe it's too many, maybe it's too little. All right. So that's all for polygons. We covered the mouth drawing. We've covered how to patch up a texture material, and we've covered polygon arrangement. And again, just like other 3D modeling methods, you got to think ahead of time of how you want the piece to be animated before you even draw it, so that you know how to draw extra parts.